Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass because, guys, 34 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 34 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. Yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling, whether it's health, addiction, even recovery, family members. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. I want everyone to know someone is listening. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. And my book is now on audio with my voice, guys. Simon & Schuster wanted to do it with someone else's voice, and I was like, no way. This is my story, my passion. My producer, Ruben Rodriguez of Hamilton Radio and Iron Horse Films, is now doing audiobooks with your voice. If you're interested, please reach out to me, okay? And listen, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help you. Before I introduce my really cool guests, let me give a shout out to a few of my sponsors. First, I've got John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, and tribute artist. I named him the man of many faces, but he was given the title by a former Philadelphia mayor as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. Guys, John is Rocky. www.johnmonforto.com. And he does like close to 30 different characters. Incredible. My three favorites, of course, is Rocky, The Godfather, the Italian in me, and of course Elvis, baby. All right? So, Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer, www.mzanman.com. So I want to tell you something really cool about Zanman. So he's an awesome entertainer. He is so much fun to watch and listen to. He recorded Mel Carter's song recently on Facebook, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me. He didn't know it, but I sent it to my buddy Mel. Mel called me and said, your boy did a great job. I said, can you tell him? We got Michael on a three-way, and Mel Carter told him himself he did a great job with his song. And that was priceless, guys. Listen, Michael Zanman couldn't breathe. He still can't, okay? But please keep Mel Carter in prayer. He's in the hospital, and we're not really sure how he's doing right now, okay? Keep him in prayer. Then we've got Michael D'Amore, singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer. www.michaeldiamore.com. Now listen, guys, I don't usually say this, all right, but I do with Michael, and then I also do it with one other young singer who's like family to both me and Michael, Carter Rubin. He was the youngest male who won The Voice years ago. All right, so I always said Elvis is up here, right? Nobody could touch Elvis, forget it. But I said Michael could be right under Elvis. That's how good Michael is. But then we did an interview together with our little boy Carter, and guess what? I pushed Michael down one and put Carter in between. So Carter's right under Elvis, and then Michael's under Carter Rubin, okay? I had the honor of emceeing for the last few years at Let East, and my producer also recorded Let East. And Michael Zanman opened for Michael D'Amore, and then we got John Monforto into the mix last year, and it was just crazy amazing. Then we've got Stormin Norman Selden, guys. 732-245-4777, www.storminnormanselden.com, booking dozens of attractions for concerts and performances on venues of all sizes. This guy is a beast on the keyboards, and he's got from a 5 to 12-piece band. He came live in studio with his keyboards recently. A lot of people don't know this, but he helped get Larry Chance from the Earls back in the day started. Larry was like family. Rest in peace, Larry. We all love and miss you. Norman's now doing something for a lot of seniors. If you're home, alone, bored, he's going to come to your house and give you keyboard lessons, okay? So then we've got, last but certainly not least, John Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit created for the creative. Facebook group page, Entertainment Luncheon South. He's also the partner in the Joey D and Johnny B Rockin' Oldies band, and he's also now going solo. He's performing, so he's doing both. Okay, I want to give a shout out to him and his wife Linny for what they do with this luncheon. They do it once a month. It's by invite only. If you tell them you know me, they might let you in. I'm trying to get this boy in. Okay? It's $20, guys, and you get incredible entertainment, a great lunch, and they don't keep a penny of it. They promote us like no one else. So, again, I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything you do for all of us. So now, guys, without further ado, I've got two really cool guests. One is a first-timer, and one is back, but let's talk to the first-timer, the new one. Andy Francis, say hello to everyone.
Hi there, everybody. Glad to be here today.
So next to him, okay, guys, this is my favorite little boy, all right? And I think I'm a few years older than him, so I could say this, all right? Remember Jack in the Box, the little dark kid with the big afro in the commercials? Okay, I loved him. I didn't eat hamburgers, but I wanted to because of him, all right? And this is Rodney Allen Rippy. He's here, and he's an adult. Say hello, Rodney.
Hey, it's good to be back on the Geri Petito Show.
So this is so cool. I still talk about you, and the first time we've ever done an interview together, and I show your picture to everybody, I trick them. I'm like, oh, do you know a man named Rodney Allen Rippy? Oh, no. And I show them, oh, my God, of course I know that little boy,
Okay.
So you're amazing.
Oh, well, it's always awesome, and you do such a great show, and that's why everybody loves you.
Oh, I love you. So I'm honored that both of you are here. So let's start with Andy, because this is really more about you today and what's going on, all right? And tell us a little bit about why you're here and what you're about.
Certainly, be more than happy. I am a management consultant in the music business, and my clients have included people like Andrew Lloyd Webber, David Bowie, Wang Chung, and perhaps most importantly today, Garth Brooks.
So cool.
When I met Garth with my ex-wife, he was a total unknown, and through a number of moves, we were able to make him a superstar. I can get into some of that in detail. I just wanted to give you a broad brushstroke. One of the things that came out of that, besides Garth's superstardom, was his sister and bandmate playing bass on Garth's records and on tour, his sister Betsy. She was the only female in the band, and she was there for all of it. I took the liberty of recording an album with Betsy, Garth's sister, as well as Colleen, Garth's mother, who was a country star in her own right back in the day. So the two of them joined me on an album we created, and it's available really for the first time right now. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of push and shove with Atlantic Records that ended up not putting out the record, and my getting it back eventually. But as of this time, it is now available for the entire world on Garth's momandsister.com. And today, I imagine we're going to play a few tunes, and I'll talk a bit more about Garth, how he eventually became who he is today, and why his sister and his mother are really the impetus for his musical career, both of whom are, of course, older than him. And while he was growing up, they were his main musical influences.
So wait, you're not going to get off the hook that easy about that. So I just have a question for you. How old was Garth when you got involved with him?
Oh gosh, like age is sort of one of those secrets, but
No,
I,
about how long ago?
oh, it was in the 90s. It was like
Okay.
1990.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is when he was, I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
So Garth comes to Nashville the first time and can't get a single meeting, nothing, zero. Goes back to Tulsa, where he lives, and thinks about it. Comes back to Nashville a second time a year later. Again, no one meets with him, no record company, no music publisher. Who's the only person in Nashville at a major company that has to meet with Garth?
You.
Well, me, yeah, but I'm not a major company. But here's the funny story. So he goes to ASCAP. He's an ASCAP writer. If you're an ASCAP writer, the guys at Nashville ASCAP have to take the meeting. So he took a meeting at ASCAP with a guy named Bob Doyle, who later comes on to be his manager. But we were going nowhere fast. In fact, we were eating Clint Black's dust, left, right, and center, and we had nothing going on. So what happened was we had been passed on by everybody. We had maxed out our credit cards, which is, the worst way to develop a business. And we didn't have anything going for us. Now, in Nashville and also in LA and New York, ASCAP does events. And one of these events is essentially a guitar round. You sign up as an ASCAP writer, and you get to do 3 or 4 songs as a showcase in a local venue. And there's going to be probably 20 ASCAP writers over the course of 8 to 11:30 at night. Everybody's going to do 4 songs. And, you invite a publicist, potential manager, maybe you invite A&R guys for the record label. But we didn't invite anybody. But our main reason, and we signed up the day before, was they serve food at this thing. So if you perform, you get to eat. And we were pretty hungry at the time. And I said we had maxed out the credit card. So it was at Douglas Corner in Nashville. So we go to Douglas Corner, and we went there early because we planned on eating quite a bit of food. So we're there before the whole thing starts, and we're chowing down. And the ASCAP guy comes over and says, hey, listen, we were like number 26 or something.
Okay.
But he says, listen, you guys are here. I've had a cancellation in the top 10 performers, and would you like to take over the slot? And he also pointed out that we weren't his first choice. He had gone to others, but they had a label guy coming at 9:50, or they had somebody they didn't want to change their slot. Garth, we had nothing happening, so we changed the slot. We did hesitate for a minute, and while we hesitated, looking at our food, they said, well, we'll throw in some drinks. So we were, no problem. So Garth gets up. He's like the 6th guy. We hadn't invited anyone because they'd all passed. He plays Two of a Kind, working on a full house. He plays Too Young to Feel This Damn Old. And he plays The Dance. The first 2 are Garth compositions, and they're in that country style that you may be familiar with,
Yep.
where you make a joke out of the title. I also managed the Oak Ridge Boys for a while, and they have the best one, which is, If I Said You Had a Beautiful Body, would you hold it against me?
Oh, yeah, love that song. What, are you kidding?
It's a great song, right? And it's a whole country thing to do those kind of titles. However, The Dance, Garth did not write. And I recognize the first 2 tunes as classic kind of country tunes. The Dance was something else. It was pretty clear to me from jump that this was a hit record.
Okay.
So anyway, guy comes backstage. We're packing. There's no backstage. We're in the kitchen. And we're packing up Garth's guitars and stuff. And in comes a guy from Capitol Records. And he says to me, where do we stand with your boy? Love Nashville. I said, well, you passed. He said, well, the VP who passed doesn't work here anymore. I'm the director of A&R. Maybe we should rethink this. And he invited us to Capitol Records the next day, and we went. We were all thinking about how fabulous this was, and we're going to break through. And then they showed us the potential contract. What Capitol wanted to do was record 4 sides. You have to really grow up in the 50s and 60s to know what the hell a side is. But on the 45 records,
Yeah.
A side, B side, 4 sides, 2 singles. But this is in the 90s, and they don't even sell 45s anymore. It's not a thing, and yet, fine. So they want to do 4 songs. But again, we had nothing. So 4 songs is 4 more than we had.
Okay.
So I go around looking for producers. And unfortunately, because it's 4 songs and 2 sides, 4 sides and 2 singles, all the A-level producers in Nashville are like, "Are you crazy, Andy? What kind of commitment is that? You got an artist that doesn't have an album coming out? I can't waste my time. I'm a hit producer." So I wandered around town some more, and I bumped into Alan Reynolds. Alan Reynolds, this is the 90s, hadn't had a hit song since "Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue."
Yes.
It'd been a while, but once a legend, always a threat.
That's right.
So I talked to Alan, subsequently making him a millionaire, but I talked him into recording the 4 tracks with Garth, and in they went, and I didn't mess with it. And one day I got a call from Alan. Actually, management got the call, but he said, "I'm really sorry. Your boy has really good songs, and instead of 4, I've basically recorded 7, and Capitol can pick the 4 they want." So I went back, management went back. I say management because Bob Doyle is now part of management, as is my ex-wife, Pam Lewis. And we go to Capitol, and Capitol says, "Yeah, this is great." And then we hit them with this. "How about this? Well, you gave us so little money to do these 4 songs.
Yeah.
How about you give us another jolt of so little money? And because we have 7 now,
Yeah.
we'll record 3 more, and you'll have a whole album,
Yeah.
and on the cheap." So they said, "Sure, okay." So Alan
Yes.
Reynolds records the whole album. Meanwhile, we don't have a budget for an album cover. We have 10 songs, but because it was a singles deal.
Oh my
So
gosh.
if you look at Garth's first album, which is called Garth Brooks, it shows a little roly-poly guy out somewhere where he is standing in the parking lot of Capitol Records Nashville. We just took him out into the parking lot, shot the album cover with a camera, bing, and that became the album cover because there was no budget.
Okay, so thank you for that story, because
Sure.
those are the stories I love. Okay, we want to hear that stuff. You know what I mean? That is so ridiculous. So that had to be well over 25 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's in 1989, 90.
Oh, yeah.
right in
So,
there.
yeah, close
And what
to
happened
30.
was, so and Garth started a band with his sister. She and he looked around for other players, and they eventually put together, because here's what happened with the album. So the album comes out, and Capitol works 2 of a kind, work on a Full House, and it charts on the country charts around the 40s. And then they put out Too Young to Feel This Damn Old, doesn't chart at all, 0.
Okay.
So we're looking at being cut by the label, and they said, "Yeah, we're not doing any more work on this artist." And I said, "Would you mind if we continue to work on it?" Because I always wanted to release the dance as a single anyway. But you can't tell a record label that. If you force them to release the record you think is best, even if it is,
They won't.
they won't.
Yeah.
And then later they'll tell you should have listened to us So they said, "Do whatever you want to do. We're done." So I hired a few people to work the record at radio, and I had a great moment based on Betsy meeting up with Kenny Rogers.
Oh,
So-
come on.
Kenny, remember, we don't have anything, and I'm just beginning to work the dance. Kenny let Garth open on tour because of his relationship with Betsy, and eventually we ended up playing, I don't know, 50-something dates with Kenny. And when Kenny dropped out, the judge stepped up and took Garth on. By then, we had gotten some traction on the dance. And that's really when it took off, because the second album features Friends in Low Places.
Oh, love that. Yep.
So Betsy got that tour organized. She played bass on all of the tour dates and albums, and was an integral figure to Garth. We have lots of photos of her on stage with Garth. They did a lot of antics together. They did interviews together. But unfortunately, Betsy succumbed at an early age to a critical disease. Also, Garth's mom died not too long thereafter. So this particular album has become a celebration of their lives.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do
Okay.
at garthsmomandsister.com.
Okay, that's beautiful what you're doing, by the way. And I
Thanks.
love that story, and thank you so much. Rodney, what do you want to comment on what he just said, everything?
Well, I have to tell you how I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Andy Francis was through my dear colleague and business partner, Marvin Spruill from the Country Soul Music Awards. And so Marvin, I've been knowing Marvin for years. And I have to tell you, Marvin said, you know what, Rodney, when you are out here and you're trying to get something started, he goes, man, you can work. And he goes, it's really about the connections. And he told me, he goes, man, I know this guy that he's a legend and he's a friend. And he goes, he'll pick up my call. And I'm like, really? And Marvin always talked about Andy. And he goes, Andy said, you know what, Marvin, you're working hard. I believe in your project. I believe in what you're doing, And so out of mutual respect, Marvin held his contact, close to the chest. And the call came in. Marvin said, hey, I was talking to Andy. Andy's got this project. And, Rodney, you do marketing and things like that. How about we jump in and work with Andy and release this CD? And so I'm very honored to have my company be a part of, and me and Marvin's partnership working together to bring this wonderful CD to the forefront. And and Andy has not just the CD, but there's a DVD that goes along with it, and you have access to it by going to garthsmomandsister.com. And so we're out here and we're doing great PR. And I said, I got to get him a great interview. We got to talk about the project.
I'm so
Who can they
honored.
go to? And I said, I'm taking it to Geri Petito because I know that you're a fan of music and you do such great interviews. And I just said, what the heck? I said, I'm going to call
Of course.
Geri, and here
Listen,
we are.
my door is always open to you, baby. And of course to you now, Andy.
Thank
Beautiful. What you're doing is absolutely beautiful, though, and honoring, and it's amazing. So let's give everyone a treat. We'll play one of the songs, and we'll have you talk about it. Here we go.
Like a whisper, like a shock, like a river round the clock, like a rose and like a rock. That's how I love you. By the fireside, by the roots, being coy, being cool, like a hero, like a fool. That's how I love you. In a mood on Monday, easy go, easy come day. Out of love on number one days, I will be true. Undercover in a daze, over easy in the shade. Always honor, I may obey. That's how I love you. That's how I love you. I could go on all day. I could just simply say, your name is written all over my heart. I could go on all night, baby, 'cause it feels so right. Your name is crowd, in silence, out loud, sitting pretty or standing proud. That's how I love you. Well, I'm hungry, lost or scared. There's nothing missing, it's all right here. With a prize or without a prayer. That's how I love you. That's how I love you. I could go on all day. I could just simply say, your name is written all over my heart. I could go on all night, baby, 'cause it feels so right. Your name is written all over my heart. I could go on all day. I could just simply say, your name is written all over my heart. I could go on all night, baby, 'cause it feels so right. Your name is written all over my heart. I could go on all day. I could just simply say, your name is written all over my heart. I could go on all night, baby.
That was beautiful. All right, Andy, talk about that song.
This is a song that Betsy wrote that occasionally Garth, on tour on all these dates, Garth would have Betsy do a solo at some point during the show. And this particular song was one she featured on occasion. She was a love bug. She had a lot of love energy to her. And this song kind of shows that. That's her loving side. And she continued to be a love bug up until the day she died. So this song connotes her spirit and her energy before she died from ovarian cancer.
Okay. Beautiful. Rodney, what do you think of the song?
You know, you listen to those big songs, you know, that people love. And you know, this is it's country, but yet it's so poppy. You know, it has a feel that can cross over. And so when I got the CD, there's 11 songs on it. Again, it's Betsy, Rough Around the Edges. That's the title of it. There's 11 beautiful songs. One song is as good as the next. And so as you listen to the CD, it's something that, you know, Andy sent me the CDs. It's Rodney, I'm going to send you the package. I'm going to send one to Marvin. You guys check it out. And I listen to this and I go, wow, this can go right onto the radio right now. It
right.
can jump right in and stand against any of the songs out there because the writing is great, the arrangement, everything. And again, big shout out to Andy for his incredible production and him being a part of this thing. And I'm just honored to be able to hold this piece of legacy. I mean, this is a tribute of life through music. And so I'm really, truly honored, truly touched, you know, and, you know, I'm sharing it with everybody I know. Matter of fact, when I listen to these songs, I'm like, gosh, these things are great for film placement. Because I'm always thinking, you know,
Right.
I'm always in that film mode.
Right.
I'm like, man, what a great song. And I keep listening to them and I'm like, man. So I'm looking at cracking my first step forward in producing and directing. I'm like, I have some music placement right
That's
here,
beautiful.
You know? So
Well,
all
Doc
good.
G from Hamilton Radio will be playing these songs now that we have them for you. Okay, and when we say we're playing them, we are playing them. Years ago, Ken Ryan and Linda, local singers, friends of mine, They said, "Do you think he would play any of these songs?" I said, "Send me a couple." Within 2 days, they called me up and they took a photo of the radio and they're like, "We're listening to our song on Hamilton," and it was really cool. So he will play them, I promise. Okay.
Wonderful.
I'll just add that Colleen, Garth's mom, is singing the harmony on that track.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, all right, I have a couple silly questions for both of you. Okay. So we'll start with Rodney because then you'll get to think about your answers. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right, Rodney. So back in the day, growing up, all right, I believe you're a little younger than me. So back in the day, growing up, when we were listening to music, who were
Uh-huh.
some of your influences?
You know what? It was really funny. I grew up in a household, and mom was always listening to music and everything like that. And then my oldest brother, Ray, who was in a band, he was always playing music. So everybody from the Doobie Brothers to War, and listening to these songs, you start thinking about them, and you're just like, man, the music of that era was so good, and it seems like it's coming back. And like I said, I'm listening to the CD, and I'm like, and this production was done, and it's been hidden away, and now we have this opportunity to bring it to the world. It's fresh, it will work, and I think that from Hamilton radio to the world, I'm really hoping that people catch on, and the fact that this really truly is, you know, the emphasis that really inspired Garth, Betsy, and his mom Colleen. This is the roots. This is why Garth Brooks is who he is, because of his mom and his sister and the love for music. And I think that I hear so many great things in there, and the Doobie Brothers, and just
That's funny.
man, just
Yeah.
great music.
So now let's talk about your career back in the day when you were my
Uh-huh.
favorite boy doing commercials. Tell everyone, Jack in the Box.
Well, that's where it all got started. And so I was just this little kid living in Long Beach, California. And one day my mom heard me laughing. I was sitting in the living room watching the Little Rascals. And my mom was curious why I was cracking up. And so she comes into the room and says, "What's so funny?" I pointed at the television. She goes, "Oh, you're laughing at buckwheat." And I'm like, "Yes." And my mom's like, "Well, you think you could do that?" And before you know it, she had me, my brother Kenneth Wayne, and my sister Beverly Lee. We were all signed up with an agent. And I got fortunate to go out for the audition for the Jack in the Box commercial, my very first audition. And I landed the biggest commercial campaign of my career that lasted for 14 years.
Okay. Well, it lasted longer than that in my eyes because people still know it. Okay.
Yeah.
People still know it. That was so cool. I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so cool. So now, Andy, growing up, who were some of your musical influences?
I got into music when I was in junior high because, and I was living in New York City. I didn't have too many friends, and the music became my friend. Nothing like, AM radio with a little transistor.
Yeah.
That in order to get the music right, you kind of have to stand up in the corner of your bedroom and hold it correctly.
Yeah.
So willing to do that for years, and I got involved early on in all of the music. In fact, I used to carry the top 40. You could buy singles. Remember singles? You
Yeah.
could buy singles for 29 cents when I was a kid. And I used to buy a ton of singles from the hit parade, and I'd carry around on my loose leaf binder the top 40 songs right there. Garth has an interesting bunch of background in that he grew up listening to George Strait
Okay.
and right and various classic country guys, and that was his influence. But then he met Roy Orbison,
Oh,
and Roy, come on. So that sort of twisted Garth a little bit, and ultimately he got so into the kind of pop stuff that Garth is on a Kiss record. He loves Kiss, so the Mercury Kiss record Garth is on. So he had a whole plethora of stuff in his face from his mom and his sister that started with George Strait, went to Roy, eventually encompassed pop and rock. And those were where he's coming from because he was the youngster there in the family.
so I grew up in Long Island City, New York, and Queens. We moved from there when I was 12 to New Jersey. So, where did you live in New York?
I lived in Stuyvesant Town, which is 14th Street and First Avenue. I could walk to the Fillmore East, which, you didn't have to be 18 to go to the Fillmore. So early on, I was there catching the acts, and there were usually 4 or 5 big acts on the bill back then at the Fillmore East. So that was my education.
Oh, very cool. So, all right, before I ask my next cool questions, my next silly cool questions, let's play another song and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
There's an 8-ball hanging on the corner pocket, a cue ball waiting on the rail to drop it. With a little finesse and just the right spin, with any luck at all, it'll fall right in. And there's a tightrope walker without a net, a butterfly flirting with the spider's web. And there's a man and a woman and a moon so bright, it can all come down in the wink of an eye. It doesn't take much, one little nudge, a word or a touch and you're never the same. It doesn't take much, but oh what it does, falling in love. It doesn't take much. You and me, baby, been doing our dance, a shy little smile, a sidelong glance. But if we keep this up, it's just a matter of time till one of us stumbles on over the line. It doesn't take much, one little nudge, a word or a touch and you're never the same. It doesn't take much, but oh what it does, falling in love. It doesn't take much. A little finesse and just the right spin, with any luck at all, you'll fall right in. It doesn't take much, one little nudge, a word or a touch and you're never the same. It doesn't take much, but oh what it does, falling in love. It doesn't take much, doesn't take much. No, it doesn't take much.
All right, tell
The
us
story-
about this beautiful song.
The story of this song is it was put together by both Colleen and Betsy, and you can see Colleen in this is the song that is on the video. This is the music video that was made for the song. It doesn't take much, and you can see both Betsy and Colleen, Garth's mom, in the video, singing their asses off.
Love that. So back to my silly questions. Okay. So Rodney, I
Yep.
mean, you were behind the camera as a little kid, blah blah blah, everything you've done now. Who have you met that you always wanted to meet, and who have you not met that you wish you could have?
Wow. I can tell you some crazy stuff. I'm driving down Sunset one day and I'm going actually east on Sunset Boulevard, right by the rainbow. And I'm in the inside lane, and passing me going westbound on Sunset is Lenny Kravitz.
And you turned your car and just followed, I hope.
Well, I seen him through the driver window, and he's driving all by himself. And I said, "Oh my God, that was Lenny Kravitz!" So I immediately bust a U-turn,
Yes.
and I am driving. I'm cutting people off. I'm doing everything I can, and I'm praying. And literally, we got stopped at a light, and I pull up next to Lenny. This is a true story, and his window was cracked. And I rolled my window down. I go, "Lenny." And he goes to look and he's like, "Oh God, I should have looked." I said, "It's okay, brother. Just look over." I said, "It's me, Rodney Allen Rippy." And he sat there for a second and then he turned and he looked and he rolled the window down a little bit more and he goes, "You are Rodney Allen Rippy." I go, "Pull over. Please
Pull
pull
over,
over."
yes.
So he pulls over. I jump out of my car and I walk up to his window and he stays in his car. He's in a beautiful black Mercedes, jet black limo tint on his windows, but I saw him through the windshield. So I'm talking through his window and I said, "Hey man, what's up?" And he's like, "Man, I can't believe you." And Lenny says something and I nearly pass out. Literally, he goes, "Man, when I was a kid,
Yep.
I used to wear your t-shirt with your face on it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Get out." He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I wore that t-shirt out." He goes, "My mom couldn't get me out of this t-shirt." And I was like, and that was one of the promo things from Jack in the Box, which also was one of the promos from my album, Take Life a Little Easier. So,
Wait, did you get a photo? Oh, you didn't have cell phones back then, right?
no. And so the thing was,
Yeah.
I'm standing there and I talked to him, but, I met Lenny. I have to tell you, greats that I met. Sammy Davis Jr. I
Oh,
did a
come
dance number
on.
with Sammy Davis Jr. On the music side, oh my goodness, I've met, gee whiz, Michael Jackson. I was friends with Michael Jackson at an early age, and we stayed in contact until we were close. We would talk every Saturday on the phone until he actually did the Off the Wall album, and that's when he blew up and went into superstar status and went
And
around the world.
he went off the wall.
Yeah, he really went. He went into the stratosphere. But someone that I probably wish I could have met. Wow, I would probably say, there's greats like BB King.
Oh, yes.
I've never had the pleasure, but because of my buddy Marvin, he's like, "Man, we got to meet Millsap. We got to meet." And so Ronnie Millsap and Charlie Pride. I mean, these are people that I just wish I would have had the pleasure of meeting. And Johnny Mathis, another great. But so many great artists, and I mean, I've had the pleasure of meeting from music to entertainment, and it's just been a dream life, and the best is yet to come.
Beautiful. So I have the same question for you, Andy.
Well, here's a funny thing. Early on, long before I met Garth, etc., I was a junior exec at RCA Records. And RCA was doing quite well. They had hits and stuff. I wasn't by any means a top guy. In fact, it was my second job in the record industry. So anyway, the biggest artist on the label was David Bowie. And I always thought, I hope I get to meet this guy. But again, I wasn't really high on the totem pole. So one day, I'm sitting at my little desk with one window, it's not on the corner office or anything close to it. In walks David Bowie, just unannounced by himself. "Hello, how are you doing? Are you Andy Francis?" I said, for a while. And then I said, "Yeah, I'm Andy Francis, but you're David Bowie." He goes, "I am?" "Oh, yeah, I am." So he was a crack up from Jump Street, and you don't see that in his music. He's a very funny, impetuous guy, and he will do tricks on you. He's a joker. Anyway, that's how I met David Bowie and ended up working with him. Some of the people I might want to meet, that's a tricky one. I think I would have liked to have met, certainly I would have loved to have met Elvis Presley.
Of course, yeah.
He was I got my job at RCA because it was like 4 days after Elvis died and they had a lot of money coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. And more contemporaneously, and again, I like this because it's kind of a bit of a slap at Nashville. I'd love to meet Beyonce. You know, she won the album of the year the other night
Sure.
for her Country Carter, and the Nashville community didn't even nominate her for any awards whatsoever. So it's fascinating to see her win the Grammy for Best Album. For
That's
the same
beautiful.
album.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but
Well-
I've never met her or Jay-Z.
Well, Elvis, of course, was my dream, and I still have the ticket. Never made the concert. He died before it. Framed in my Elvis poker room. I had a pink and purple Elvis poker table made because I'm a dealer. But God has really blessed me, and Rodney knows a lot of this. God has really blessed me with Elvis. I got to interview years ago his nurse, Marion Cock. She wrote the book, sent it to me. I called him Babe. And she still, keep her in prayer. She's in a facility, and she's up in her 90s, and we spoke every week, and so just keep her in prayer. And through her, I was supposed to meet Priscilla, and then COVID hit. She was going to bring me on stage at this Elvis concert. But I got to interview Priscilla's son. Priscilla gave the blessing, Navarone, them guns. And then I got to interview 2 children of Elvis Presley's. I even got court documents. Elvis Aaron Presley Jr., he is his son. He's my age. He was born in 61. He looks like his dad would look at 64 years old, and he sounds just like his dad. And they sent me even a letter from Graceland to the courts when he was 21 saying he deserved the name of his father. And that's all he wanted was his father's name. And I got to interview recently a woman named Deborah Presley Brando. She was his first daughter, and you can check her out. She was married to Marlon Brando's son, Christian, after Marlon died. So I've been blessed, and if I couldn't meet Elvis, well, I've had so much given to me with the, Presley. So that was beautiful. So
The guys at RCA who worked the Elvis catalog, I used to call him the vice president of Elvis. And there were 4 guys in that division, like a VP and a director and a couple of managers. And they were never in their offices at RCA, in the building. If you wanted to talk Elvis and have a meeting, you had to go to a steakhouse down the block and around the corner. That's where they hung out all the time. They never had to go to the office.
Okay, that's right. Oh, I want to share one little tiny Elvis story, and there's a reason why. Because of my book, and it's in here, okay? So Elvis and God saved my life. And it's not because of Elvis's music. Well, I guess if you think it through, it had to somehow have to do with that. But in 1990, I had an Eldorado. I had beauty salons. I was making too much money too young. I had a black and gold Eldorado Cadillac with Elvis license plates. Okay? 1991, I'm in the middle of Trenton, New Jersey, 1 o'clock in the morning with a girlfriend, copying heroin. So our young African-American drug dealer comes to the car and he says, I don't have any dope. We got to go 2 blocks. Now, he gets in the back of my car, and we don't know it, but an unmarked police car is following us. My clientele were very wealthy, mostly Jewish women, and one of them was the municipal court judge of Mercer County. She was the boss of all the judges. She's still in my life. And I used to go to the courthouse in that car often and have lunch with her. This cop recognized my Elvis plates. He called the judge in the middle of the night. He waits till the guy gets out, gets the dope, gets back into my car, and he pulls us over. He says, Jerry, I called Judge so-and-so. She said, get this guy out of your car, get the drugs out of your car, go home, get some rest, and get some help. And that was it. I threw him out, the drugs out, her out, went home. I put myself in a rehab that week.
Good
Yep.
for you.
So if I didn't have those Elvis license plates, he would not have known it was me, and I would have been in jail that night. Right?
Wow.
Think about that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So, all right. So now let's give everyone another treat, and let's play. I think this is the third song now. Okay, let's play the third song.
Baby, don't you think it's been too long since we had some time alone? I reach up and turn the darkness on. Honey, come and take me in your arms. Take me where it's safe and warm. Show me some of that old charm. Well, now the moment is right. So what are we waiting for? You told me your heart was in it. So if you're ready to love me, baby, oh, love me like you mean it. Move a little closer to me. Let's do some serious fooling around. Come on, shake the night till the stars fall down. Now, baby, come on, love me like you mean it. Darling, now and then there comes a time when you gotta leave the world behind. And I got just a thing in mind. Heaven, heaven ain't that far from here. Let me whisper in your ear, and I'll make all my intentions clear. Well, now you're showing the signs that you got it bad for me. So why wait another minute if your aim is to love me, baby? Oh, love me like you mean it. Get a little closer to me. Let's do some serious fooling around. Come on, shake the night till the stars fall down. Now, baby, come on, love me like you mean it. Well, now the moment is right. So what are we waiting for? You told me your heart was in it. So if you're ready to love me, baby, oh, love me like you mean it. Move a little closer to me. Let's do some serious fooling around. Come on, shake the night till the stars fall down. Now, baby, come on, love me like you mean it. Love me like you mean it.
That is also singing along in harmony.
Tell us about that.
This was a more rockin' tune. It had a little something to do with J.D. Souther songwriting, and influenced Betsy a lot. And I know she always wanted to record it. It's a little more aggressive than some of the other songs, perhaps, but she was there for that. Nobody pushed Betsy around. She was a force to be reckoned with. And even though she was the only woman among all the guys, the roadies are all guys, the band is all guys, she held her place. And when she sang songs of her own in the Garth tour, this particular one usually lit up the crowd pretty good because it rocks around.
So, Rodney, what'd you think?
You know what? I love, like I said, I listened to the whole album, and it just has that drive. And again, I'm always thinking placement and commercial placement. And it sounds like a love me like you mean it. Great commercial, great song for a car commercial. Some people driving and having a good time, and and I just have to say that I like, when I think of music, I think of instrumentation, and the bands back in the day, you could hear that guy drumming, and you could hear the horns, and all of the great stuff that goes along with it, and and it's just the electric slide, everything all mixed together. And I just have to say that she's a fantastic artist, great singer. And Andy can talk about her ability as bass and stuff like that, and instruments that she played. And I just think that it's fantastic. It's a great song. Great song.
She's playing most all the guitars on that song as well, Betsy.
Wow.
There you go.
That's beautiful.
So
wow.
Girl power.
That's right. Girl power, baby. Very cool.
And big shout. And I have to tell you, Jerry, I have to say a big thank you again to my dear friend Elaine Ballas, and then I had met you at the autograph signing, the what was that? The crazy thing in Parsippany.
It was in Parsippany, and it was like a
Chillers.
Comic-Con or something.
No, it was Chillers. It was
Chillers. Yes.
That's where we met.
That's
and so
right.
Andy, it was the craziest thing. I met Jerry there at Chillers, and we took a picture together.
Yep.
And then, probably about a year later, my friend.
Well, let's back up. Hold on. I gave him my business card then. That's for sure.
Right.
That's for sure. And he never called me.
I was a busy guy.
All right, so go ahead. Now continue.
Yeah, I was a busy guy. And so
Right.
I did not know I was missing such greatness. And so next thing you know, my friend Elaine Ballas, who's also an actress, she was in 4 Mel Brooks movies. She says, "Hey, I know this great person. You need to call her. She does a great radio show." I said, "Oh, okay." So Elaine hooks me up with Jerry, and Jerry goes, "Wait a minute, I met you." And I was like, "We did?"
And
she
I
goes,
sent him the photos.
and she sent me the photo, and I was like, "Oh my goodness." And then she told me, "You never called me." And I was, oh.
I have a Rodney folder on my phone with those
Yeah.
photos. Oh, yes, I do.
That's
Yep.
right.
He was my favorite little boy.
Oh, well, I was lucky. So, and that's how, but thank God, how things kind of circle. It's really, things are such timing. And we met,
You're right.
and she gave me her card, and sure enough, and I had a stack of cards. I
I'm
picked up
sure.
tons of cards, and it was just something that but it was just the right timing. And when Elaine
Yep.
invited me in, and also we got to keep Elaine in our prayers.
I
Elaine
know.
hadn't been feeling too well
I know.
recently, so keep her in your prayers.
Yes.
And,
Wayne, we love you.
she's-
Yes.
She's my pal, but again, you being on your show, and again meeting Andy through Marvin Spruill and this project, I think that it holds a lot of promise. I think that the more people hear the songs and start to dig in,
Yep.
and my question for people, because I'm asking people, and I'm on the whole social media push, I'm like, do you know who inspired Garth Brooks? And a lot of people go, no, I don't. And when I
Right.
say it's Colleen and Betsy, people go, really? And I go, and we got the CD to prove it, So,
It's so cool.
it's exciting. We're
So
really
cool.
excited about that.
So now, we have one more song? Yes, producer? Okay, so let's play the 4th song. You'll talk about that. Okay, here we go.
turns gray. You're acting like you are the best thing that I've ever seen. Well, you may be right, but till you really get to me, you can look, but you can't touch. You're easy on the eyes, and honey, that ain't enough to win my heart. You gotta make it fuss till you're ready to fall in love. You can look it, but you can't touch. You've got a reputation all across this town that you're the fool around kind who never settle down. Well, I've never been nobody's fool. Yeah, but I've been around until I know for sure just what I found. You can look, but you can't touch. You're easy on the eyes, and honey, that ain't enough. You got me a little curious, but till you're ready to fall in love. You can look it, but you can't touch. You can look, but you can't touch. You're easy on the eyes, but honey, that ain't enough to win my heart. You gotta make it fuss till you're ready to fall in love. You can look, but you can't touch. You're easy on the eyes, but honey, that ain't enough. You got me a little curious, but till you're ready to fall in love. You can look it, but you can't touch. You can't touch. No, you can't touch.
Come on, tell us.
So that song, also featuring Colleen on the harmony, is a favorite. She used to play that on the Garth stage, and I have a little story about it. So one day, the Garth band with Betsy was playing in Dallas at the old Cowboy Stadium. And it was, that stadium had like a square hole in the top. And while we were doing sound check, we had helicopters fly in and take pictures and disappear.
Oh, that's so
As
cool.
strange as that was, the really weird part is this. When Garth would play Thunder Rolls, we had the stage hooked up for water droplets around the perimeter of the stage, and we had grading in that area of the stage for the water to go down. It's typical, staging effect during Thunder Rolls. Unfortunately, this hot day in Dallas, there was a reservoir. You need a reservoir of this water. And it's up in the rafters, kind of. And we're feeding it down from there. The reservoir bursts. Now, and it comes down, I don't know, we must have had 250 gallons of water up there. And it comes down on the crowd, right on the crowd. And nobody expected it. And Betsy sees it. She's standing right next to Garth. And she walks into the crowd where the water is with her electric guitar and starts singing out there to make them, and everybody went nuts, and it ended up being a great moment, but it could have been a disaster. It could have been a lawsuit city.
So what were the chances of something like that?
Unbelievable. We had stuff that would happen, before the shows would even start that we had to deal with. One time we had, the giant scaffolding that the speakers sit on left and right.
Yeah.
We had one fall down in sound check, and it fell around people. You know, scaffolding has those holes.
Wow.
Missed them by feet. You know, um, we had it was a pretty strange run. Luckily, there weren't too many of those, but that's why I remember them. The disasters. The water drop was something because that's a lot of water coming down from about 35 feet.
So you're going to laugh at this then. You know, we have tech issues a lot, okay? I mean, we had a legend 2 years ago. He was on with us for 6 hours. We couldn't get him on. Finally, he stayed, we stayed, and we did it. But we've had tech issues. And I said to my producer today, I've got Rodney back and his boy. I said, we can't have any. So this would have been nothing if we had a little tech issue after what you're talking about.
I have one for you.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know about this. I'm in the scene of Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, right. Tell everybody about that. Go ahead.
Okay, so I actually played Cleavon Little
Yep.
in the scene on Blazing Saddles where the family, if you remember the movie, there was a black family crossing a wagon train, but they were all the way at the end of the wagon train, and the Indians came from out of nowhere and only surrounded the black family. They left everybody alone in the wagon train, but they only surrounded the black family. Well, I was playing Cleavon Little as a little boy. That was the scene. So I'm setting the scene up. But what really happened, which they changed, we're in rehearsal and Mel comes up and he had a tomahawk. He had this big tomahawk and he was going to hit my father. And, oh no, one of the other Indians was going to hit my father, and Mel had his tomahawk and he said, no, like that, let them go. Well, in rehearsal, when Mel said no and hit it, no one knew, but the wood tomahawk was just kind of brittle and it broke, and this blade goes poof, 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 whap into, just barely missed me. And it was metal. It really was. And everybody screamed because and I
Yeah.
freaked out, and they thought that it hit me, but it barely missed me.
Okay.
And believe it or not, everybody started screaming, and Mel freaked out. He's like, what happened? Why was this thing real? Why was this thing so brittle? And they just said, oh God. So they had to take a break, and they calmed everybody's nerves down, and they moved the thing around. But really, that was something that happened in rehearsal. So yeah, when you're talking about chances.
And why was it real? Why was it freaking real?
Well, you go back, you have to go back to,
I
it
guess.
was real. And so those are the type of things that just happen. And they found out. So as you know, in the industry, safety precautions are paramount. And so everything from, weapons and that's why they have people who are strictly weapons people.
That's why I keep my producer in the back behind the door. And okay,
right.
we have a window, a big glass window, and he could see me. That's why we keep him back there. Here,
There you go.
here he comes, right? God, say it.
That's not true. That's okay. We picked up Jerry the other day from the home.
Oh Lord, the old age home. He makes fun of me. So, before we close and have you give all your info, I'm gonna read a poem out of my book that I wrote called "Utilizing Gifts and Talents," because I want everyone out there who questions their self-worth or if they have anything to offer to know we all have something to offer. So, if that's you, please listen to every single word of this poem. Okay, here we go. All right, utilizing gifts and talents. We are born with talents, we are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used, God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour like these two guys are doing. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. a living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, to spread a peaceful sound. Don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened, and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your names, Rodney and Andy, baby, will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And that's what you guys are doing. You are making so many people smile. And I personally want to thank you both for honoring me here on the Geri Petito Show, Hamilton Radio. Very, very honored to have you both here today. Thank you.
It's
Oh,
mutual.
So
Yeah.
let everyone know, Andy, I guess you start, and then Rodney, your websites, whatever it is. And I don't want you to say, I forgot to say this. So if you did, say it now. Okay?
Okay, I would say that this particular record, a very special, one-time only performance, the only material recorded by Garth's mom and sister together. And it is a bit of memorabilia. So if you're a Garth fan, you want it in your collection. Garth'sMomandSister.com. And thank you so much for having us on today.
Oh, thank you. Rodney, what would you like to say?
Oh, wow. You can catch up with me at Rodney Allen Rippy on Facebook. You can catch me on Instagram. And again, it's an honor being on with you. Thank you so much, and continue to do all the wonderful things that you do for people and mental health. And God bless you, and keep entertaining people, keep inspiring people. And thank you for having me and Mr. Francis on.
Well, again, I want to thank you both for honoring me here today. I love you both. And the door is always open, guys.
Thank you.
Producer, take us away.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a